Good morning everyone, it's my favorite time of day, it's coffee making time. Now I know a lot of you will be looking at my $1,000 plus setup and thinking, wow, that's a lot of money to spend on coffee. But actually, for espresso enthusiasts, this is an entry-level espresso setup. Now don't worry about it, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a coffee setup, and I've got plenty of videos on my channel dedicated to other brew methods. But for me, it's all about espresso. So let me show you how I make my morning coffee. To start at the real beginning, I get my coffee roaster out at least 5 days before I make my espresso. I used to buy coffee from a local roastery, but for the past few years, I've had this Jene Cafe roaster, and I've bought green beans from an importer to roast my own coffee. It's much cheaper to buy green beans, and I get the added joy of learning more about how to roast my own coffee at home. A lot of the flavor of your espresso is going to come down to what coffee beans you select for this drink. Now, a lot of people labor under the misconception that espresso requires an espresso roast, but actually espresso is just a way of brewing highly concentrated, strong coffee, and it can be done with any level of roast. Now, a lot of people do prefer dark roasts for an espresso because they generally have a little bit more richness and a little bit more full-bodied. But some interesting specialty cafes have been doing some work with lighter roasted coffee beans and made some really exciting espresso. So I say just go with what you like. I like to roast my coffee just past the first crack, where some of the moisture is released by the beans in the roasting process. I make the middle phase of the roast, the browning phase, a little longer as I reduce the temperature in the drum to bring out as much sweetness as I can from the beans. Once I've done that, I leave the coffee to degas for a few hours, then I put it in an airtight coffee canister and wait for a few days to get rid of that roasty flavor. Espresso is best brewed within 4 days and about 3 weeks of the initial roast date. So I usually roast or buy coffee every week rather than buy big batches of coffee that will easily go old and stale. At the moment, I'm using this entry-level machine, the Rancilio Silvia. It's a battle axe of a machine, and this is an old V2 model, but it makes great espresso and parts are readily and cheaply available, and most fixes can be done even without technical expertise. Of course, I really love my Silvia and it's been a fantastic machine, but I'm actually looking to upgrade to a mid-range home enthusiast setup. So if you have any suggestions for a dual boiler machine that I can use to replace this one, and maybe even a grinder as well, let me know in the comments below. Yoshi, I'm not replacing you. I mean, the biggest reason is probably latte art, because doing latte art on a single boiler machine is really difficult. The espresso sits for a while and it doesn't really have enough steam strength to do fantastic milk foam. It can do a really good job, as I've shown in my other videos about latte art, but you know, it's kind of falling apart. There's like chrome peeling off the boiler. Like I really just, maybe I just have that case of upgrade-itis, you know? It takes about 20 minutes to heat up the Silvia enough to get consistent temperatures, so while it's heating I take a shower or write my daily gratitude journal. I keep my portafilter nestled in the group head so that gets warm too, which makes more consistent temperatures for the coffee grinds. Even though my PID might say the machine is ready, I still wait a little while until the sides of the machine feel warm. Then I'm ready to go. This morning I'm going to be using a blend that I roasted and I've been messing around with a little bit recently. It's a Brazilian, Guatemalan and Ethiopian mix at about a 6:2 ratio. I've already dialed it in on my WPM grinder to about a 10 on the scale, and it's absolutely fantastic for espresso. So for that reason I've really just been having it as flat whites or cortados so I can really enjoy the flavor of the beans with just a little bit of milk. I pull my shot aiming for about a 1:2 ratio of ground coffee to espresso extracted in about 30 seconds, plus or minus 5 seconds. There are a ton of variables that can slow down, speed up, or otherwise change the flavors in the shot, so I try to use what I've learned about dialing in espresso to bring out the best flavors. Since it's a medium roast, I have my temperature set at around 94. If it were a lighter roast, I would raise the temperature by 1 or 2 degrees, and for a darker one, I'd lower it to make sure not to pull out the bitter flavors. A lot of people think that if they just get an expensive coffee machine at home, they'll be able to pull amazing espresso shots and have wonderful coffee at home every day without trying. Now, while there are a few good fully automatic machines out there, there's nothing that can fully automate this process at home yet. So if you're interested in getting into espresso and buying yourself an espresso machine, you should know what you're getting yourself into. I guess that's why there are so many coffee snobs out there, because it really does take a lot of learning before you can pull a really good espresso shot. For me, the learnings are absolutely worth it, but there are a lot of options out there for people who aren't interested in spending years or months months or years of their time learning how to make espresso. However, for me, there is nothing like serving coffee to people and seeing how much they enjoy a really well-made espresso, latte, or cappuccino. The ritual of making coffee and getting to share it with my friends and loved ones is really worth all the learning for me. If you're not excited to spend thousands on an espresso machine and grinder, and months or even years learning how to pull a good shot, don't worry about it. A mocha pot makes great strong coffee for a tiny fraction of the price, and it's much harder to mess up. But man, when you pull a perfect god shot that just tastes amazing, it really is the best. I wish I could share the taste of it with you right now, but the only thing I can do is show you with some epic B-roll. So that's it, that's how I make an espresso every day on my $1,000 home espresso setup. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thousands of dollars to get a really good coffee in the morning, but... Oh, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot. Oh, I don't like that one. Should I say pounds or should I continue it? It's so weird. I'm a British man living in Japan referencing coffee things in dollars. This doesn't make any sense at all. Good morning, everyone. It's my favorite time of day. You can look at other videos on my channel. Oh man, I stuttered. I want to keep the coffee machine in there. Okay. Ooh! Ah! That was right in my butt. Oh, the microphone's over there. Really, really, really last one this time. Jeez, I've done this like 20 times now.